Hi, everybody. You can keep that in there.
I'm leaving that in there.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to LatchKey Friends. It's the podcast. Liz, how are you?
It's a podcast.
It's a podcast.
It's a podcast. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. What is going on in your home?
I don't know. There's like a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm just trying to survive the coronavirus quarantine, and I'm down here in the basement in my kids' toy room, but my kids are older and don't ever use this, so I'm going to make it into my room. So I'm just picking paint colors. I don't know.
And wood.
It forces me to have to do something, so because I can't leave it like this.
I think that you should just tell people it's done every time.
This is it.
You're like, what's the problem?
What do you mean?
I
just want it is. It's fine.
I don't understand the question. And I refuse to answer it.
I think next time I'm in a meeting, someone's like, what's going on over there? I was like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Nothing. Nothing's going on.
Weird. So we've been in quarantine for forever.
I don't know, like 5 years or something.
Like 5 years. It feels like it's 5 years. Both of us are living in the basement. What's cool about my basement is that I can see my neighbor's backyard, and sometimes he pokes his head over the fence.
He's like that.
Yes. Hello, Wilson. How are you? So, yeah. So I've got my neighbor. I'm living in the basement. I spruced up the basement in that if I'm looking out right now, I see my window well, but I put a hanging potted plant in there with flowers.
You did? That's smart. I'm going to do that.
And it's pretty fantastic. Plus I got the band stuff in here,
Yeah.
The rock out.
You're pretty set. I've got a bunch of Nerf guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it's cool too.
We're doing good in our bunkers, in our respective bunkers.
But do you know what's been the best part of this quarantine?
What?
LatchKey Friends.
LatchKey Friends?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The podcast, as you called it.
The podcast. We've had some killer guests on the show.
Yeah.
Literally killer. April killed some animal.
Yeah, she's a critter killer.
She is a critter killer, and now I'm worried that PETA is going to be all over the podcast.
Uh-huh.
We didn't do it. It was April.
April did it.
We'll give you her address. Just leave us alone. We're just in our basements doing a podcast.
So what episode are we on now? This is episode, the big one. 10, double digits.
10. Or when my son turned 10, he started calling himself Curtis X for 10.
Podcast X.
So this is LatchKey Friends X. This is number 10.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So what do we do for 10?
Who's our guest today?
Who's our guest? It's my favorite story. It's my favorite one. And it's Spencer Sutherland.
I'm the guest today?
Uh-huh, you are.
Okay. So this is a story I'm super embarrassed to tell.
You should be. You should be ashamed.
It's embarrassing. It is really bad. It's really bad. But
I can't wait for the world to know this story about you.
Person. There was a couple reasons why we decided it was okay to tell it. One is that mostly because it's 5 years old.
Yeah.
And we don't have to name names. And the only person who should feel embarrassed and horrible is me.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were there, I was there. We both played different roles in this horrible story. Mm-hmm. So as I talk through it, feel free to interrupt. Okay. Feel free to correct the narrative, make the truth be. Don't let me try to...
No, I'm your conscience. I'm going to make sure that you get all of this out.
Okay.
You get this all off your chest.
Yes. This is confession. Okay.
Confession time with Spencer.
So 5 years ago, I was at work.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I, we've worked together for a long time. We were both at work. You were more innocent in this mostly than I was. But
completely innocent in this.
Likely this could be all your fault. So 5 years ago.
My fault.
5 years ago, we're at work, and we work in a big company. There's lots of people. But for a while, we were working in a building where there were not that many people, and because we were like in the annex.
Yeah.
We worked in a different building, and we just had one floor. And how many people were working there?
Like, I don't know, a couple hundred maybe.
200 max, maybe.
Yeah, 150.
It was just one floor of the building. You and I sat on one side, And then they had like a break room in the middle that had a fridge, a ping pong table, I think.
Yeah.
And it was the other side. And I feel like we kind of knew that we know the people on our team, we know their names. And the further you get, especially the other side, maybe you know some names, but I didn't know anybody's name.
Yeah.
So one day I'm in the break room, filling up my water mug, getting some water. And then as I'm walking back to my desk, this woman just passed by me and she said, "Hey, how's your twins?" And instinctually, I said,
like a normal person,
I said, "So good." And then I walked to my desk. So maybe if we pause here.
Yeah, what's the problem with you saying "so good"? What was not so normal about that?
Well, see, if you look at it from my perspective, "so good" is a perfect response because
you have twins?
Because if I had twins, my guess is they would be
so good.
So good.
Yeah. Well, what was that word you used? If you had them?
If I had twins. So at the time of this incident, I had 3 children, but 0 twins. Today's current state, samesies.
Yeah, no twins. Yeah. So there's no twins in your life.
So 3 kids, no twins. She asked me how my twins were. I said, "So good." And then I went to my desk and I thought, that was curious because I said "so good" before I even thought about it. I got back to my desk and I thought about it and I thought, well, why does she think I have twins? I couldn't really think of a reason. But there was a couple of viable-ish options. One is our friend Lindsay, who we know from what?
We know from the spider story, the hobo spiders in the basement hot tub.
Lindsay versus the hobo spider. Everybody knows her. She's totally popular. Lindsay was working with us at the time, and Lindsay has what?
Twins. Actual twins.
Real life twins.
Real life twins.
And 5 years ago, they were probably so good.
Born, and they were so good.
I'm guessing they were so good. And then we also knew another guy who was white and had twins.
Yeah.
But that was probably
all you white guys look the same.
We all look the same. But I can't imagine that we are at all would be mistaken for one another.
I can't wait to put a picture of Reed and you and see and have people vote.
Who's who?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I mean, the only thing I could think is that maybe this woman had interacted with Lindsay and me, and there were twins. You could get that. That's the only thing I could think of. Am I missing anything here?
No.
Okay.
Other than the fact of why would you say "so good" to somebody?
Yeah, and what I think about that is if somebody, have you ever had a time when, I know you have, you're walking down the hall and somebody says, "Hey, Lindsay."
Yeah, they did.
And you would say,
"Hey."
Hey. Right? Because it's not even worth
Lindsay.
It's not even worth it. You could be like, "Hey, my name is not Lindsay, it's Liz.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?"
Yeah,
rude.
That's rude as hell.
So, I mean, to me, it wasn't even a big deal. I did not think about it beyond then.
But then what happened?
So, again, longish time between interactions. That woman left. I didn't remember what her face looked like. I couldn't pick her out of a lineup to say that we had this interaction. Until like, I don't know, 6-ish, 8-ish months later, who can tell? I pull into the parking lot at work and I get out of the car and I see a woman walking out next to me. And I didn't think anything of it until the question she asked.
What was it?
"How are your twins?" And then instantly.
And so, what did you do?
I thought,
like a normal person, you said, "Oh, I don't have twins." That's what happened, right?
Yeah, that's what happened, and that's the end of the podcast. Isn't that? That's the end of the story.
Yeah, no, it's not. You did the opposite of that. You said.
Okay, so she said, "How are the twins?" And I probably said, "So good." Okay.
Yeah.
Which probably if that were the end of it, probably would have been okay.
But it wasn't. You had a nice long walk with her into the building.
So then she said, "So they must be getting so big. How old are they now? Like 18 months? And I said, no, they just turned 1.
Because whose twins just turned 1?
Lindsay's kids just
Lindsay's twins.
But the problem was,
you're now taking over Lindsay's twins as if they're your own.
I still had 0 twins. Now, at this point, when I said that they were good, I still felt okay about myself as a person.
Oh my gosh, the second time? If the second time someone said, hey, Lindsay, I would say, hi, just so you know, though, my name's Liz.
Well, I felt okay about saying that they were so good a second time. It was when I told them that they were 12 months that I started feeling bad, because now I had invented children.
So at that point, you got out of this story, right?
No, because then she said, oh, are they walking? And I literally heard a voice in my head that said, you should tell her that you do not have twins.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't.
Okay.
I said, they are not walking yet, but they are crawling and they are everywhere. And I could have stopped. And I said, but the worst part is they are going up and down stairs.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Why
do your imaginary twins aren't walking, but they're crawling and going up and down stairs?
And so at this point, I thought I should have stopped.
Yeah.
But I didn't stop. And she said, you have 2 boys, right? And I said, at this point, all of a sudden I changed. And I said, no, I have a boy and a girl. Oh, really? That is so cute. I said, I know, but they are a handful. I am exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah, exhausted with those fake twins.
And so here's the thing, there's probably only like 20 yards from where we're parked to where the door is, but it seems like forever when you're having a conversation about your fake twins. It literally takes forever.
It's never ending.
And so I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I don't even know how I'm going to keep up with them.
Uh-huh.
They're exhausting.
Yeah.
And then the one part that I feel probably most guilty about.
You should feel horrible about this.
Is when I looked at her and I said, pray for me. So at this point, we have just barely reached the door. So we open up the door, and I thought that I was free and clear, but there was only one hallway that got to the one elevator.
That went up to our one floor.
That went to those doors before we could separate, and that was like so many lies later. I thought, I've got to stop. So we got to the door. She went right towards the elevator, and I did the only respectable thing you could do, which I took a left, and I headed towards the cafeteria.
Yeah.
The cafeteria, and I'm just like, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? What have I done? And I saw my friend Ryan, and I can imagine if she would have thought that I was Ryan. Ryan also bald and white. And I said, Ryan, you'll never believe what I just said. And I just told her this, and then she's like, and then I was like, and then I said, pray for me. And Ryan is laughing, and Ryan has that SpongeBob laugh, as you know. It's a very good laugh. So he's laughing, and then I'm laughing. I'm feeling really embarrassed. And so then I walk upstairs.
And is that where it ends?
No, that's where you come in. That's where you come in, because you and Lindsay and I used to kind of sit in this little triangle.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys, you can't ever believe it. You can't believe what I just did. She asked me if I had twins, and I told her that there was a boy and a girl, and they were 12 months. They're crawling.
Yeah.
And what I expected Lindsay to say.
Yeah, Lindsay, the hobo spider fighter.
Yeah, the owner of twins.
Owner of the twins that you were talking about.
I thought that she would say, you should just go tell her.
Yeah.
But she didn't. What did she say?
She said, did you need to borrow my pictures to put at your desk?
She was totally going to help me out, and for that, I'm forever grateful to Lindsay. So
what did this person do?
No, well, it's not to get to that person.
Okay.
Lindsay and I, we talked through some ideas.
Yeah.
We were going to move the twins' pictures over to my desk. We were going to talk about a breakup that I had where mom went to Denver.
Oh, I forgot about that part. You were going to.
And then I was going to say to her, I just never want to speak about it again. It's too hurtful.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
And then you enter the story.
Well, a couple people by that point had heard the story and were coming up to you asking you, like, what happened?
Tell me the story.
It was hilarious. I laughed when I heard it. But at this point, with all the planning and all these people coming up, and we're on one floor.
Yeah.
I figured that was getting back to her. And so you should probably own up to it like an adult.
Yeah. So you said that I should own up to it.
Yeah.
And so I thought about that.
Yeah.
I considered that.
And when I said own up to it, I meant like walk over and, say, hey, listen, there's been this big misunderstanding. I don't know what I was doing. I got caught up and I don't have twins and I'm really sorry.
And I took that information that you told me. And I internalized it.
And then did what with it?
Well, so I feel like this was like a Monday, probably. I think
it was a Friday.
No, it was a Monday.
It was a Monday that it happened, and then it took a week.
Well, maybe. Oh. So I internalized it, and I thought through, and I thought, yes, that probably is the best choice, would be to go tell her. I thought that was probably the best. But I knew I was not going to do that. Because that was way too scary. And so I came up with some other options, and I came back to you. And I said, option 1 would be to go tell her. And you said, that's correct. I said, there's also option 2, where I call her on the phone. But there were some problems with that. Because I thought if I told her over the phone that what she would hear in my voice, she wouldn't see in my countenance.
Yeah, because you'd be laughing.
Yeah, maybe I might laugh. So I thought that was not the best idea. And so I came up with a third option, which I proposed to you probably midweek. And it was to film a video confession.
Film something that somebody can keep forever.
Yeah, because what I thought was that she could see the sincerity with which I felt bad, and also that I could walk her through the mindset. What led to this, really? Yeah,
because doing that in person, I mean, it's not in high def or anything, so you really don't see all of that emotion on someone's face in person.
Yeah, it was the high def. You really lose that in the face-to-face. It's the, yes, that was my reasoning. So, you have always done a great job of being my little conscience, my little shoulder.
It's an exhausting job.
It is tiring. It is a full-time job.
I'm exhausted.
You agreed to be the videographer session.
Yeah.
So
this is where I went wrong.
Yeah.
I encouraged this.
You were new to crisis communication. You were new to crisis communication.
I was new to crisis communication.
So we went into a conference room on probably like Friday morning or Friday midday.
I think it was like later in the day. You kept putting it off.
Yeah, maybe I was busy with stuff.
Yeah, super busy.
So you filmed me, and maybe you could walk me through what you saw going on the other side of the camera.
Well, you wrote a little sign on the whiteboard.
Yeah, let's come back to that. I wrote a sign.
So you wrote that sign, and there you are.
And I think the sign said, I'm embarrassed.
I'm embarrassed, and I'm really sorry, or something like that.
On the whiteboard. So, because it was audio and video and
visual, like lots of visual, like you really put some production work into this. And then you went on to tell the story about what you did, and I couldn't stop laughing, so I'm trying to be really quiet. So the camera's like this. I can't stop laughing. It's so ridiculous.
So I gave what I thought was a very sincere apology. And it was heartfelt, and I was coming to go through to the close. I was coming through the close strong. So I said, with all of this stuff that I did,
Yeah.
I want you to know that I'm not only very sorry, but I'm also, and I turned to the whiteboard and I said, I'm embarrassed. And that's when I realized I'd spelled embarrassed wrong. I spelled it wrong. How many S's are in there? There's more or less than
like 15. There's 15 S's in embarrassed.
So I spelled it wrong.
Which was even better is that you spelled I'm embarrassed wrong. And that was going on behind you while you're telling this dramatic story.
And the whole time she's probably thinking you spelled that wrong. She probably didn't even hear my confession because she was worried about the typo.
She was.
Hobo Spider Lindsay would have been embarrassed.
Yeah.
So I went back. So we went back and I was strategic about it. Maybe a little chicken. I don't know. You can call it whatever way. But I remember that we were on the side of the building that faced the parking lot. And so I would go and I'd peek through the blinds and I waited until I saw her car was gone.
Uh-huh.
And it was Friday night and I emailed her the email.
Yeah.
And in the email, I sent the attachment of the video.
Yeah.
And guess what she said back to me?
What?
Nothing. She never responded.
Nothing.
Never responded.
Nothing.
So here's a few things that I can take from that. Either, here's what I'll start with what I think is the most viable.
Let me just ask one question. Did she ever ask about your twins again?
No. She never asked about the twins again. So here's what I imagine happened.
Uh-huh.
She saw the video, was so touched by my genuine that she thought, man, if I was going to ever hear this, I'd rather hear it from him in video because he really shows he cares.
Yeah.
And he's vulnerable enough to share that he doesn't need to spell. He doesn't need to spell correctly to say sorry.
No.
That could have been option number one.
You're sorry with 3 R's.
Yeah. Option 2 is that maybe she saw it and was so mad that she never wanted to speak to me ever again or was embarrassed. Like I was with multiple or singular S's. Who knows how to spell that?
Yeah.
Or 3, she never saw it.
Or 4, she thought you were crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe she just felt bad for you.
Yeah, the awkward thing about it was that we were just in that one floor of the building.
Which had those 1 bathrooms.
It had the 1 bathrooms, and so I did.
1 kitchen.
We crossed at the bathroom, and also her desk was right by the meeting room that I went to almost every day.
Yeah.
But I still see her, and we do this. And there's never been
do this.
That would be funny. I should. Now we all work in our bunkers. I don't even know what a bunker is. So if she's listening to this, I'm sorry. It was all wrong.
Yeah.
It was all horrible. Wrong. I should have, when you very first said, how are your twins? I should have said, I do not even have twins. Why are you asking me that?
I am not Reed Thorpe.
I'm not Reed Thorpe. Or Lindsay. Do I look like Lindsay to you? No, I should have. I think that the lesson I learned here was just say it, right?
Yeah, you can say things in a nice way.
Oh, I don't have twins.
Oh, yeah, I don't have twins, but I have 3 kids, and they're doing good.
3 kids. They're good. How are your twins? Could have said.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. How are you feeling now that you got this off your chest?
I think worse. I think legit worse. I think having to re-say it out loud.
Yeah.
Maybe this doesn't shine the brightest light on me. Maybe it's not the most flattering light.
Do you remember what story you used for your stand-up comedy routine?
No. Was it Karl Malone? Did I talk about Karl Malone?
Yeah, you did your Karl Malone impression.
Yeah.
Really stole Chase's thunder.
I know. Right?
You're the worst friend.
Yeah.
No, I think it was this story. I think this was the story for your stand-up comedy routine.
Are you bringing that up just to poke at me?
I am. Yeah.
This feels worse. This feels far worse. I did. I told the story at the stand-up comedy routine. I think. So if you guys haven't seen our episode number, I think number 5-ish, 5 or 6, Chase meets the jazz legend. We talked about how Chase did the stand-up comedy. I also did stand-up comedy with him that night, and I chose to tell this story. And I have never doing stand-up comedy is the scariest thing that any person in the entire world could ever do. And I think that Chase said this as well, is I blacked that entirely out. I don't know what happened. I just know it was really hot and I was very sweaty.
Oh, I didn't black any of that out. Unfortunately, it's all there, right here, all of you guys.
I'm so sorry. In preparation for this, you and I watched the video. We haven't the video confession. We haven't seen it before. We haven't seen it since then.
It's been 5 years.
And what did you think?
I was ashamed that you spell embarrassed wrong.
So that's the confession. 10 episodes of LatchKey Friends. It has been fantastic. Like, I love hearing everybody's stories. I'm embarrassed about my stories. Super embarrassing.
Your stories are great.
And you haven't told us any stories, Liz. There's some things.
I don't have any stories. I'm boring.
Episode 20?
Maybe. We'll see.
Episode 20. So 10 episodes down, many more to come until we're out of quarantine and maybe forevermore.
Beyond.
And we'll watch the evolution of your office down there.
Yeah, it'll be great.
If we ever get out of quarantine, maybe the band will practice behind me.
That'd be awesome.
Maybe they could be the live soundtrack.
They could be. Get Rhett working on it.
It's like having the Roots on our show.
It is like having the Roots.
Yeah. Anyway, Liz, why don't you send us home tonight? Send us home. Where can people?
Thank you for telling your story.
Oh,
that was great.
It was so great.
We loved having you on as a guest.
It was so great to be on the show.
Yeah, maybe you can come back next time. We'll see though. We'll see.
We'll see how the numbers, how
this performs.
Yeah.
If you want to watch any of the other awesome 9 episodes, you can find it at LatchKey Friends on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And sometimes we're on LinkedIn.
Sometimes we're on LinkedIn. It's very professional. And
super professional.
And if you don't like any of those social medias, which we don't either, LatchKeyFriends.com, you can go right to the internet.
Right to the website, the webpage.
The webpage. So anyway, Elizabeth, it has been an absolute joy and delight to co-host 10 episodes with you.
10 episodes.
And we've already got
many more.
Here's so many more. Let's do some more. Okay.
All right. See you next time.
We'll all see you, friends. We'll all see you soon. Liz, thanks for being my friend.
Bye.